Hi, welcome to Straight Talk with Dr. V and Mr. P. How are you doing today, Mr. P?
I'm doing great, Dr. V. How are you?
I am well. I'm just so elated to be here. A little tired, but I'm happy to be recording an episode of Straight Talk. How about that? Especially with you, Mr. P.
Well, thank you, Dr. V. It's a blessing to be tired. There's people who didn't wake up in the morning, so they can't be tired, Dr. V. So you should be thankful.
Yeah,
That means you had energy to get something done, right?
you got a lot done.
Productive. What you been doing to get into this week, Dr. V?
I got into some things this weekend, and that's probably why I'm tired. Yesterday hung out, had a nice dinner, and laughed. Because since the streets are back open, I'm able to get out.
Okay.
And so I had a great evening last night. And then I graded papers and all of that good stuff too on yesterday. And then today, just doing mama role, pastor role, cousin, trying to plan different things. So it's just been a productive weekend. And I'm
Okay.
tired. How was your
Basically,
weekend?
the streets, basically, Dr. V. Using the streets.
Is
That's
what?
what you're using the streets. The
I was
SKREETS.
I guess you can say that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was
Hmm.
cool. You know,
Okay.
I don't remember what happened during the week. Just a normal week. Nothing major on the work front or anything like that. Just a Monday through Friday type of grind. Getting from day to day, trying to
Okay.
get to Friday. And once you get to Friday, it's like the weekend goes like that one. So I think
Yay.
quick,
Yes.
quick,
Hmm.
you know, nothing
Yeah.
major. But nothing I can complain about. I think I would say this overall had a good weekend. So,
Good. Good. I'm happy
right.
you had a phenomenal weekend. All
Phenomenal.
right. All right. And I'm just back. I'm just so happy to be back recording. We're trying to do it more on a consistent basis. But our schedules is just crazy, but we're getting it in. We're getting it in for you all.
Yeah, we gotta move some things around. It's a new year, even
Hmm.
though it's February 5th
Fifth.
to be
Hmm.
exact. So the year is moving along, Doctor V. Next week is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
You got Valentine's Day's planned, Doctor V?
Oh no, no celebration of Valentine's Day.
No,
No.
oh, okay.
That's overly commercialized. Celebrate me every day. Don't celebrate me just on the 14th of February.
What's the rest of the Stevie Wonder? No.
I think I think every day should be Valentine's Day. You just don't,
Uh, None
because
of that.
everybody go and flood all the restaurants, all
Yeah.
of the Hallmark
Well,
candies, baskets, and all of that. Every day, roses should be given an appreciation every, when you can, but
right.
you should, love on your loved one every day.
You should, Dr. V. But you know, Valentine's Day is commercializing, and I agree with you
Mhm.
on that one. But it used to be a really fun thing for young people, for
Yeah.
older people. I think to celebrating love is a beautiful thing. To have
Mhm.
somebody to celebrate with, it's a beautiful thing, Dr. V. I
Yeah.
can remember when me and my cousin were in high school,
Hmm.
many years ago. We used to go buy like all these stuffed animals, right? So we buy, I don't know how many. One time, I know one of my cousins, one time, I swear he had probably like 10 or 15. And so, we showing up at school, passing out, stuffed animals.
Hmm.
So to the, to the girls, basically,
Hmm.
I remember at the time, I don't think I had a girlfriend at the time. Obviously, I probably didn't, or if I did, she would have got something more special. But that was just, that was a big deal because a lot of, especially in high school, around that time, that was a big deal for a girl to get something for Valentine's Day.
Mhm.
That was before the social media and all that flexing and stuff like that. So that was basically how the girls got attention or knew who really liked them or who thought they were special or something like that. So
Right.
some people got more multiple gifts from people, and some people got nothing. So flip
True.
side of that, you know,
True.
um, I think that part of it, the joy of that part of it, of being that special type of day things, I think that get lost a lot. And but it was like, that was a big thing for you to give somebody a Valentine's Day gift, or when you were
Yeah.
younger, you used to get those, used to buy those little boxes of candies with the cards in it, with a
Yep.
piece of candy, something like
Yep.
that, and then
Uh-huh. And
put
give them
out.
out to your classmates, and they gave you something. Will you be my Valentine? And you sent home. But you know what? My mom, they couldn't afford all of that. So
Uh,
I never participated. It was every now and then I may have participated in elementary, but my mother couldn't afford to go to those stores. She was like, we got to put food on the table. So that was a
so
wrap.
the little candy kisses with the messages on it, or the
Hmm.
little cards where you had to write everybody's name too.
Right. Uh-huh.
I mean, I think at a certain point, it got too politically correct where um, they started making you got to basically give everybody one. If you don't have enough for everybody, you couldn't really pass it out. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
They did that, we couldn't do it. You had to, it came in a bag when your classmates, you had about 20 in a bag.
Mhm.
So to make sure that everyone had something, when you walked through the class, so you could not, leave someone out. And I
Yeah,
think that's good. I do my treasured memories was
that
always
ain't good.
my treasured memories are always of my father. He made sure that me and my sister always had something from him for Valentine's Day,
Hmm.
and that's why so if someone gives me something as is who I'm dating or whatnot, it's not a big thrill, because my father started,
Right,
and
right.
just to make sure he set that tone, he set that pace, so we wouldn't be around moping, because we were like, hey, I've done this, I've had this before. This is not something, because you know how sometimes men don't come around certain women until it's that time Valentine's, and because he think he about to get him some, and she's like,
Yeah.
oh, she think this is the best thing since sliced bread. No, my daddy made it that you got to step your game up, bro.
No,
For
yeah,
me
but
and my sister.
the days for the lovers, for the players. You got to be careful for them players out there.
They wouldn't get ready to get an all day sucker from us. Let me tell you.
That's the part of the experience. That's how you learn the good, the bad. Those little small lessons you learn. And I think forcing kids to give everybody one. No, I have mixed feelings about that. That's like participation trophies for me, because I don't like. Why I gotta get them some candy? Why I gotta get them a card? I don't like them. If they were mean to me, if they were a bully, I
Okay,
got you
yeah.
telling me I gotta
You
give
got to
them
get,
a.
yeah, I understand that. I understand that.
Like, nah, you write down the names who you want to give it to, and don't be mad when somebody who you expected one from didn't get one to you. That's a life lesson. You learn. Everybody's not gonna like you. You don't have to like everybody.
Mhm.
You just be respectful, not be mean or mistreat anybody, and it is what it is. So,
I just enjoyed, my father giving us candy. We had candy. He would get us roses,
uh,
watches, jewelry, things of that nature for Valentine's. So when brother
yeah.
man, you step up in here with a stuffed animal, you step in here with something like, look, we were looking at you like, Negro, where you going?
Well, it levels to it, Dr. V. I mean, like
Where you going? Where you
an
going?
adult, an adult, yeah, maybe, but like high school, ain't nobody got no money in high school anyway. So that was a big expense.
But
Buying,
let me tell you this. Um, a grown behind man one time
uh-huh.
brought me some a stuffed animal.
Okay, that's it. Did y'all
That's
go to
it.
dinner or something like that,
Yeah, we went
or
to dinner, but don't be bringing me. What the heck? I'm 40 some years old. What the heck?
Oh, oh, oh! I thought you were talking about like in your early 20s. Oh, he did this recently.
No.
Recently, you thought it was a nice gesture. Maybe you was gonna.
How was that? Not no. And I mean, and even with my birthday, sometimes that this fool would do this. Are you serious?
Maybe he sprayed it with his cologne so that his
It
presence
was
would.
no. It was nothing sprayed on the cologne.
Did it come like in a gift
I mean,
basket or
sprayed
something?
on the animal, huh?
Was it like in a gift basket, or he just come in with the stuffed animal like this?
A stuffed animal like this.
Hey, here you go. Was it flower? Were the animal holding flowers or something like
No.
that? Okay, well, what'd you do with them?
Charlie gave them things away. They were gifted. Yeah, look, my nieces took the things and just have whatever they wanted to. They was smaller than. I was like, here y'all go.
Right.
What the heck? I'm a grown behind woman.
Okay. You would have accepted flowers though, right? Flowers would have been fine.
I would have accepted the flowers. Yes, I would have.
Okay. It's like, yeah, bro. Okay. Well,
But
maybe.
but I think, and it was funny because I think psychologically, it could be something that was there. If I really examined that, why you was always bringing me that for Valentine's or for my birthday or something, it's like that's kind of creepy. A grown man bringing stuffed animals.
Well, maybe someone he dated or prior to or in the past liked it, so he thought it was a good idea.
Audience, what y'all think about that? Viewers, what y'all think about the daggone stuffed animals?
Do not give Dr. V a stuffed animal. What do we go to the zoo, Dr. V? You don't want a stuffed animal? No souvenirs?
No, none. Because if you bring me a stuffed animal, I don't even have a niece anymore or a nephew, a toddler. I will have to go find some cousins to go or donate that to.
Okay. Well, stuffed animals are still. I don't know. It might be a popular thing for young folks. I don't know. I don't
know.
You know,
I like stuffed animals when I was, growing up and when I was a child. Scripture said, but now I'm a grown woman. I don't think as a child no more.
Yeah. We used to buy the kids stuffed animals all the time. My daughter has, my youngest daughter, she didn't take them with her, but she still has a whole bunch in the corner somewhere in her room. So we'll see what happens if anything is sentimental or anything like that. So stuffed animals is not in 2023. Let us know. Y'all dating people? Maybe it's novelty. I don't know, Dr. V. We'll see. What if that stuffed animal had like a gold bracelet?
If it had a gold chain on it, if it had a ring on it, that's totally different. The stuffed animal will still have to go because I'm going to take the chain.
You're going to take the chain? Okay.
That's presentation. That's presentation.
Okay. But by itself, it's a no-go. Okay.
It's a no-go.
All right. Well, hey, good luck to you fellas out there. I've been married for a long time. Have I bought my wife stuffed animal? I don't know.
She don't even look like the stuffed. Look, she don't even look like the stuffed animal. You need to let me know if she's a stuffed animal collector.
Well, I'm saying, she might have been when we were younger. Like,
I know. I would love to know because you know how some people you can look at personalities and you could see.
Yeah.
And to me, in my opinion, you married her. You know more about her than I do. I'm just saying, just by the time that I have known her, that just don't fit her personality. But I could be
wrong. I'm going to ask her. Oh, and that reminds me, Dr. V, tell the people what happened. If you didn't watch the previous show, go back and watch the previous show. We talked about trust between. Did you
put the video out? Because I was looking for it.
Yes, it's out there. Because someone called me about it. But anyway, we talked about what men want is a woman who will duck when they say duck. They don't want a woman who ask them why. They want a woman when I say duck, she ducks. Now, Dr. V, Please tell the people what happened when we did our little experiment with my wife and myself. Would you like to let them know
No,
what happened?
no.
Why not? Go and tell them, Dr. B. Go and tell them. Don't let they don't take my
Well,
word for it.
on our way, but let's look. Hold on, and see, he did not warn me because I needed to really be paying attention.
You were right
I don't know if she really ducked when he prompted her to duck
Me.
because I wasn't foretold to say Vanessa.
Dr.
I would have
V.
been paying attention.
She was folded up. She was crossed up in a day, and in pretty much almost in the fetal position. Was she not? Did she not duck?
So we in the car, right? We're in the car, people, right? We get ready to go. We loaded up, getting ready to go. And so all I heard was, I guess Mr. P said, duck. And his wife ducked. And then the next thing you know, he called my name out, Vanessa. And I looked, and she was ducking. And I just bust out laughing.
Did she ask any questions?
Nope.
Before doing it.
But that's 25 years though of trust.
Well, I'm just saying, Dr. B.
That's 25 years, bro. Y'all look, wait a minute. Y'all in the game. Y'all in the game. So she trusts you, honey. And even if you told her a bus was coming, y'all got that type of trust like that till she know better not to step out there. You know what I'm saying? Even if she don't see the bus, because that's 25 years of trust buildup.
I agree with that, but let's talk about trust. So you don't trust anybody. So trust is not given. No, I'm asking. So when you're entering into let's say a new relationship, you're learning somebody when you first meet them, you guys are talking, doing whatever. You don't there's no sense of trust there initially.
Not when does trust come in? You're trying to get to know them, so you don't know what their motives are when you're just meeting someone.
Okay, so when you said you guys are exclusive, is trust there?
Because that means if you're exclusive, you've been dating for a minute.
Right.
So yeah.
So it don't take 25 years to get to trust, right?
But people are not doing what you and he have done. Y'all y'all totally different. Y'all came in an era, in a time where you could trust your partner. Now, these days, you can't trust these people as far as you can throw them.
I didn't say these people, Dr. V.
I'm just saying, y'all are different. You know what? We ain't gonna talk about y'all because y'all are whole different. Y'all in a different game. Y'all in a different league, Mr. P.
I'm not talking about my wife and myself anymore. I'm talking about when you enter into a agreed upon exclusive relationship, is trust not there? Doesn't trust have to be there? So people
I got trust with who I'm dating. I have trust with who I'm dating. I am. It's trust is there.
If that person wants you to duck, are you not going to duck?
I would duck.
Okay.
Because I'm learning that now.
Okay.
I'm learning.
Okay.
I am. I'm learning that.
Okay. So, ladies, duck. Now, if you got, if he gave you a reason not to, if you don't trust him, you shouldn't even be in an exclusive relationship if it's with anyone you don't trust, right? So you can't be in these type of relationships, and then when someone asks you, you trust them, you give reasons why you can't or you shouldn't trust them. You really shouldn't be in a relationship with anybody. I get it. Sometimes trust brought into question, and sometimes a person loses that trust, but you give them an opportunity to win it back. But if there's no trust, there's no us. You like that, Dr. V?
Yeah.
There's no trust. There's
no us. Let me write that down for the people.
Right, write it down. You can't spell trust without us. US, right? TRUST. No us. But anyway, so for those who didn't watch that, I'm telling you, go back and watch the prior episode with Dr. V and Mr. P, and where we talked that, and we're gonna do the experiment. Men want someone who, when I say duck, you duck. Now, if I did something, if I told you to duck and you bumped your head because I was being funny, I understand why you'd be hesitant. You don't
Yes,
want to bump your head.
right.
But if I haven't given you any reason not to trust me, and you should do it. I'm
Right.
just saying. If you can't trust them, you shouldn't be real. You really shouldn't be with them. But that's a different
Mhm.
story now. Um,
Right.
but moving on. First of all, let's just give a condolences to Ricky Smiley real quick for losing
Yes.
his. That just happened a few days ago. Not sure of all the details, what's going on
Mhm.
with it. It's a sad situation. I could not imagine what he's going through or being in that
Mhm.
situation and trying to deal with it publicly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's the cost of celebrity, or that's the price you pay, or that's the life that he lives. So
Mhm. It's definitely to him and Brenda. That's Brendan's mother. To
okay,
pray for Brenda. That's the mom. Can you imagine your son?
right,
And she's not in the spotlight. So please lift her up in prayer, and the family and the siblings.
yeah,
And I know yesterday Ricky put a cryptic message to please. He was requesting a therapist
hmm,
because this is difficult. This is difficult. I don't have any children, so I can just imagine someone you brought into this world,
hmm,
and and they leave before you do. That's hard. That's a hard thing to take. That's a
that's a
hard pill to swallow. And even at his funeral, Ricky was, talking and thanking everyone for supporting, and he was calling out names of people who have lost their children. And he was like, "I remember sitting beside you," and he says, "Now I feel that pain that you felt. I feel
mhm,
it." You know,
right,
and so just keep them and the radio station, all of his colleagues, keep them in prayer because they were around him as well. So he was just like a family to everybody that Ricky worked with. So just definitely keep the family in prayer.
right. And I'm trying to make sure I get his. Um, that reminded me of the I guess his name, the Nichols situation with the Memphis police, and
Yeah.
you know how
Mhm.
his parents and family had to deal with what happened with him publicly,
Yeah.
and again the loss of a child. I can imagine what
Yes.
they're going through, and then for the entire world to see what happened. It's just it's unfortunately things that is common and commonplace here, with all the violence, gun violence going on. It's a lot of parents that are going through this and dealing with it. Some
Mhm.
things, um, most of it is out of control or out of the
Yeah.
parents' control.
Yeah.
Keep
Out of
your family safe
control.
if you can. Equip them to as best you can with how to navigate this life. It's tough.
Right.
It's tough
It
out
is.
here.
It
It's tough
is. It is.
navigate. There's a lot of people who losing their life for you know. It seems like preventable things for
Mhm.
um, reasons that seems like minuscule, minuscule to what's going on.
Mhm.
So it's just unfortunately it's hard not to become numb to it, but it's that's why I think that it's important that we allow children to be children as long as they can,
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
keep their innocence, stop trying to expose them to realities of life too
So
soon, because
quickly. Yes.
once they're exposed to it, there's no turning back. So the
You
harsh
can't close
realities of
that
life,
door. You can't
you
slow
can't.
down time. No.
So that's that Pandora's box. It's like
You
if they
know.
the world is a safe place and you can keep them safe and keep them protected, let them live in that space as long as they can. However, prepare them for what's about to occur, or the environment that they're living in, so they can be prepared. But
Yes.
unfortunately, in this day and age, social media and the information highway is
Mhm.
very hard, because just imagine any kid with a phone now can pull up that clip of what happened to the Nichols young Nichols guy in Memphis, and watch the video with everyone else. So that's a disadvantage of then having access to so much information and what's going
Yeah.
on. Celebrities uh, lose their lives, and all these rappers and these gun violence victims. That's posting all over the world, so it's hard to keep them away from that. It's hard to keep them sheltered from it. Um, and again, a lot of people are dealing with it stuff publicly, and they have to deal with it publicly. So
Right.
just a condolences to the family, anybody who's going through that or
Mhm.
has gone through that. Praying for strength
Right.
for you and your family. So what else is going on? Dr. V, before we move on, do you have any classified documents in your home that you need to return to the federal government?
No.
You sure you ain't got nothing in there? Because I swear, every other day they finding more stuff.
And I'm just they getting ready to find Jimmy Hoffa in a minute.
Right. After all these years, they're gonna find Jimmy Hoffa. Come on, man. These people, it is it's so ridiculous that it started, and you know it started off as an attack on Trump. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. They tried to make it look bad on Trump, and they didn't check their own files folders. So now y'all put so much energy on it toward what was going on with Trump and them, them classified documents, and now, hey, they don't flip the script, and they looking through y'all drawers and they find the classified stuff. I'm like, come on, man, come on, people.
Yep.
So that's just entertainment funny. It's laughable at this point, because every other day they find somebody.
Really is. It really is. And then you got Pence has found stuff in his house. But I bet if you go back, you'll find that there's a lot more people who have. And you got to think too that they are not the ones who pack up their offices. When it's time for them to leave, that's the aides. So do we hold the aides to the fire? Because those politicians are not sitting here, let me go through this and see if you picked up some classified. So that means that the aides need to be trained on what's classified, what is not, what needs to stay in the office, what needs to go back to where the classified documentations go. So it seems like it needs to be some training there, because you cannot hold the politicians because they don't know they have that information.
No, because it goes back now to let you know how lax our national security can be, particularly when it comes to documents and information. I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who had to leave the country because he had found out these WikiLeaks, Snow, all those leaked documents. Now you tell them. Now you really see how loose people are with documents, because basically there's no reconciliation and there's no check and balances. The way it's supposed to happen, from my understanding, is when someone takes a classified document out, or they're getting one, that's supposed to be tracked and kept record of that. Obviously, that's not happening. People just passing out copies. Nobody's keeping up with who has what and where. And it's like you're putting the onus on those people to remember to, hey, I got this classified document. I need to make sure I turn it back in and destroy it or do whatever. So there's really no reconciliation of, like you said, of what documents are floating around. So it's easy for someone to get a hold of some classified documents and leak it to the world web, or sell it to anyone, a bad actor.
Exactly.
What I mean? Like
definitely.
It's interesting that they still are doing everything so manual, because now in my organizations, you don't print there's very little things that you print out anymore.
Yeah,
Most things
definitely.
are
Because
digital.
everything is electronic. It's
Just
digital.
electronic. So there's not much. I can't tell you when the last time I printed something work related.
Hmm.
We even they before I say about 5-6 years ago, before I changed positions, they had removed all the desktop printers. You know, at one point everybody had their own personal printers at their desk,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, because the things were changing and the level of control they wanted over how paper documentation moves and flows. They went to centralized printing. So, you know, everybody printed from these copier fax machines, scanners that were all in one. And so you basically had your own identification, own password for logging in and for printing things, or pulling your documents. And so if we've done that 5 or 6 years ago, really the government is really, really behind if they actually have all these physical documents being laid around or left in desk drawers or boxes, whatever they're at. So it's almost laughable at this
Right.
point.
Right.
So,
Definitely. Definitely.
so
So now, what about this daggone balloon that they finally shot down over the coast of South Carolina? Let's speak on this thing for a minute.
yeah, I don't know about that, Dr. B. They swear it's a spy balloon, but I'm like,
It is.
it ain't too good of a spy balloon if they were able to see it that
First of
quickly.
all, first of all, China says, "Oh, it drifted off of the off where it was supposed to be." Um, Come on. I do not think that they were doing that for weather. How in the heck did that balloon get all the way from Canada? I mean, not from Canada, from China to us, and it was sitting over Montana.
Well, what were they doing? What are they trying to capture?
The weather.
That's what China said, but I'm just saying, all you gotta do is pull up Google Maps now. I mean, they got their own
um,
site.
I do not know, but they trying to put it on my Biden that he didn't handle it. Biden said, "Look, when I first discovered, I told him to shoot that goddamn thing down." But
Mhm.
y'all told me leave it alone because if we shot it down, that it will, be over residential property and people could get injured. Y'all told me to wait. So I mean, my Biden can't win for losing. What's up with that?
I don't know. It's funny to me the technology we got and people still using balloons. And then this is the first time we've ever heard anything like this, or I don't
I guess
know. I
they
guess,
thought that nobody was going to pay attention to a balloon.
but what again? What are they trying to capture? Because there's only limited range. They can't control. Obviously, it's hard to control the direction of the balloon because of the wind. But I don't know. It
That's a
was
good
just fun.
balloon to come all the way from China over here to the United States. That's a daggone. I need to find that balloon. Maybe I need. That's how I need to travel.
You think they left that book somebody inside or close? Let their balloon go to
It had
China?
to be because that's a lot. If you sit back, how far is China from the continent of North America?
I don't know. They could have. I don't know where. I mean, it did.
You got to let me know. See, that's the first question. How far are we
Well,
apart?
um, that's assuming. Let me see. Let me ask Google. This is from the United States and China.
The distance from United States to China is 7,233 miles.
But that's China. That's assuming that it came from the mainland China. It
It
could have
came.
came from a submarine. It could have came from a naval ship or a ship out of
Yeah, that is true. That
coast,
is true. Off the coast of
international waters.
California,
It could have
out there
came
in
from
Hawaii.
right. It could have came from any locations. It could have came from some land place where China has influence, or you never know. So
Yeah.
you just never know. It could have been anywhere. So, but shout out to that China weather balloon. I'm sure they're
Well,
gonna
I'm
figure
happy
out.
they finally they took care of it. It was over the coastal waters of South Carolina. So it's
Right.
done. They're going to try to retrieve some of the data, information, or whatever from the
Hmm.
scene, since it's shallow to detect what it really was. So that's
Okay.
that. Now, what you think about this Amy Robach and TJ Holmes situation? They are not returning to GMA3. They have lost their position. From my understanding from TMZ, they said that about a couple of Sundays ago that they went into mediation
Hmm.
and said it was nothing but screaming and yelling coming out of the room
Because
during this mediation. However, they still being spotted out doing different things together.
because they probably yelling at them because technically they didn't break any laws.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Obviously, it must have been some type of corporate policy that they did, some type of nepotism, a thing like
Okay.
that one. So I guess if they going in knew about this policy and then broke it, it's they really don't have a whole much to stand on. I think it's ridiculous that um, it's such a big story and they should have handled it differently. I mean, it's the same thing with the Celtics head coach. It's basically the same scenario. There was a legally they didn't do anything wrong. Morally, that you can bring that into question. But is this the new norm where office relationships, which have been happening since the beginning of time, you know, you or may have experienced it with some coworkers or something, but I've seen it live and in action. I actually dated someone at the office once, but I wasn't married or neither was she or anything like that, and we weren't under some type of nepotism rule. It's a bad idea, in my opinion, to do that. You live and learn from that. Um, I wouldn't encourage somebody to do that. Somebody needs to leave, but there's many people who met their spouses at the workplace and are still together. So
Yeah.
um, I don't know. Do y'all have a nepotism rule that you can't that you got that by Dr. V? You
Mm-mm.
can't. Oh. So professors be hooking up all the time.
No.
I heard this a couple of times before, but in the school system that teachers be hooking up. I do remember it used to be a rumor when I was in the elementary school that I
Uh-huh.
heard the janitor slash I guess whoever what he was hooking up with the different teachers around the school. So that's a possibility. That probably been happening a long time. Single or a good look. I don't know if he was single. Good looking men working around at that time. It was mostly women. I'm pretty sure. Things probably has a tendency to happen when you put the opposite sex
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
Um, some attraction going on. So things, it's possible. It's
Hmm.
possible, Doctor.
It's possible, but I just feel they let it go on this long. And if
Yeah.
there was nothing, no rule or policy written, that you should just have suspended them and put them back, even if you just had to separate them.
Well.
Like TJ was primarily, of course, that was, he was on Good Morning America from 8 to 9. And then they moved him over to the GMA3 when they didn't give the position back to Strahan and Sarah Haynes. So, and Amy could have just continued to be over on GMA3, and TJ stayed with GMA in the morning.
mm,
I
well.
don't know. I mean, I would work it, but they still have to pay them out their contract. So
Right.
that's the thing.
From what I've
Um,
heard, she advocated for him to get him on. And I think that the additional information is that TJ Holmes has had a reputation of being involved with other coworkers in the
right.
past, and allegedly someone else um, with GMA during his time there. So who knows? It's still messy. It's unfortunate for all parties involved, but it's that's where that old saying: do not shit where you eat at. Excuse
That's
my
what
French.
they say.
That's what the old folks say. The old folks learned that lesson.
Okay.
They said it for a reason. You don't want to mess with your money because you're getting caught up
Exactly.
with stuff. So, not saying that they won't land back on their feet, but well, more to come.
More to come. Yes. So
Maybe they'll start their own show together.
yeah, I guess
The-
so. We'll see. Now, on to a funny note. What about the 6-year-old who had his dad or mom's phone and ordered all that food?
Yeah, I told my wife that. that joker ordered $1,000 on Grubhub. That's why you move these kids that you're just your phone and carte blanche. And say the little boy was tipping everybody's 25%. So that's what so food just started coming. But I'm like, y'all left him too long, and then for them to do that. But here's the kicker: Grubhub gave them the money back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, it must be nice. I'm gonna go click on me some stuff and
Don't
give it
you
to the
try
baby.
it. Don't you try it.
Click on me some stuff
It
and
may
then throw
not
the phone
work for you.
and say, "Hey, Grubhub." The 3-month-old rolled over and drew it on my phone, and now I got this chicken wings. I ate the wings because they was here. I didn't want to go to waste, but I did not order.
Boy, you crazy.
I didn't order the wings.
Ooh, you can't do what the baby did. You
No.
can't do what the baby did. So, oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah. Speaking of wings, did you see that about the school worker in Illinois who stole $1.5 million worth of chicken wings?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Was she homeless? Was she
No,
needed?
she worked there. She was like a cafeteria. Let me see. She was like the cafeteria. It says a woman in Illinois.
Food? Was she reselling?
No. And let me read it to you. It says the
Okay.
woman in Illinois is accused of stealing at least $1.5 million in food, mostly chicken wings, from one of the state's poorest school districts. The former food service director of Harvey School District in Chicago suburb allegedly took over 11,000 cases of chicken wings she ordered for the district with school funding, according to a report. Now, I don't know what she did with them chicken wings, but she probably sold them. She probably was a chicken wing lady. Let me see. So I know all them cheap chicken wings people were buying from Chicago. She probably was supplying them. They said she began stealing the food during the height of the pandemic. It was never brought to the school or provided to students. She allegedly started her thievery of chicken wings while the district was providing pickup meals during remote student learning. So, where the 11,000 cases ended up not being was not confirmed. It was uncovered during a routine audit conducted by the district manager. Costs were found to be $300 over the budget at the midpoint of the school year. So she got caught because she went over the budget, clicking on too many chicken wings. So
Oh Lord.
yeah, and then let me see what else they said about it. They say the audit discovered individual invoices signed by her for massive quantities of chicken wings, an item that was never served to students because they contained bones. Employees for the food service provider knew the alleged thief by name due to the massive amount of chicken wings she would purchase, prosecutors said. She is currently being detained on a $150,000 bond in jail. So she was selling them chicken wings. She wasn't buying them for herself. She was selling those. So I'm trying to figure out, are they going to track down who she was selling them stolen chicken wings to, or is she going to take the fall all by herself?
First of all, she got to take the fall. That was her.
You don't think
Why
the
you
people
don't get
buying
the person who was buying this ain't drugs? You get the person who's selling.
it's just as bad as drugs. You know how chicken wings is now?
Again,
Chicken
you
wings.
get the person
right.
who is selling. Don't get the person who purchased. No. It's bad business.
So bad business. So receiving stolen goods is illegal,
Well,
Dr. V.
That's
So you get the person who get the hookup. So if I got the hookup, I'm not responsible for the person who did.
Hey, go get her. Get her. No, people got to feed their families. They tried to get the best way they could. They need to feed their children. They needed them chicken wings. Go up in there and dip it in some old flour, some Lowry seasoning, and they had to put it in that grease. Don't get mad at them. They had to do what they had to do. Anybody got the hookup? Please give me a call. Cause that chicken in the store, them wings, costing some money.
Yeah. I'm like, I wonder how much you charge for a case of wings. She probably like $20 a case of wings. You probably get about 100 wings for $20. Man, I'm thinking it's a wholesale. I bet you she was selling
100 wings. I'm there. What corner?
Mm-hmm.
Look, what corner? What corner?
She's selling them wings to them little. Probably wasn't the Wingstop place. It could have been Wingstop, but somebody go up.
Chicken.
All you gotta do is follow the money. Whoever chicken wings went up after she got caught, that's who she was selling them to because
boy, you crazy.
They now they have to pay you the full price for them wings. So if anybody in the Chicago area, if she might have been smart, she might have been shipped them outside the city. She been moving that chicken weight. She moving that weight down to 35.
She been moving that chicken wing.
She moving that chicken wing. That weight. She been moving that weight always.
Lord have mercy.
Probably chicken wings in
but,
Detroit.
You know, in all reality, we laughing and stuff. In all reality, you know, come on, y'all. Y'all got to think this stuff here land you in jail.
Yeah,
in prison.
Of course, she going to prison, but she's what did I say? She was 66.
Yeah, they don't kill
white collar crime. So she been watching, you know, everybody else doing these white collar crimes go in and get slapped on the wrist.
That ain't white collar. That's black collar crimes, right there.
She just chose some chicken wings. Chicken wings.
She got the chicken wings, baby.
Hey, she had the hook. I mean, hopefully she opened her own business with that as she was funding her own chicken joint, you know. So 11,000 cases of chicken wings. Let me see. Let me do the math on that. So if it's 11,000 chicken wings and it's 1.5.
And I coming in to order 20-piece lemon pepper.
Right.
Dry. Oh, boy.
So that's $136 a case.
Ooh.
For them chicken wings. So she was probably selling them for probably $50.
Baby, Jesus.
So she got $50. I'm just saying she did $50 a case. They normally $136.
I would have I would have called everybody. Look, I got this $50 case over here. Y'all come get y'all some of these chicken wings.
Yes. That's $500,000 that she made.
Yeah, she did that come up.
Yeah, and that's if she did it at $50. She might have did it for more, like $75. I don't know.
But you know what? Why don't people do that stuff? Make your money and get out. Why everybody got to sit there like the show we like to watch, BMF? They had so much money they didn't know what to do with. Why you just couldn't get your money and get out the game?
Because they get greedy and you get addicted to the lifestyle. It's more than about the money. They get addicted to the lifestyle, the power, the prestige that they feel like they have with it, even in the circles they run. So that's what get them caught. It's not because they get smart. They make enough money and they get out. They get caught up in, you know, that prestige and power, or being the man, or being the person, or whatever. And then, you know, that's usually what happens. And then they push it out too long, and then next thing you know, it's usually internal. Somebody got mad, you made somebody mad, or they got caught up in their mess and they throw you under the bus to save themselves. So
right. Ooh, I tell you.
That is the life.
Yeah, I think that's all we got for hot topics.
Yeah. Other than that, you said the Grammys tonight. I'm not watching it, but good.
Me neither. I ain't watching the Grammys. After I get out of here, it's shower, eat, and bed.
Yeah, I don't know who's nominated for it. You say you say you got Beyonce.
They said Beyonce. Everybody's eyes are on Beyonce to see if she's gonna get for her Renaissance album. You won't break my heart. You won't break my heart. What is it? Soul or spirit? What's she saying? I'm saying heart. What does that song say? Because I ain't no Beyonce fan like that.
I
You
don't
won't
know.
break my soul. You won't break my soul.
You got you some tickets? Let me see. Let me pull up. Okay, so Beyonce, she'll be in Atlanta August 11th. Let me see what her tickets price. 2 tickets. Okay. Okay. Let me see what they say. Checking availability here. Y'all seeing this live and direct. 7 p.m. Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Beyonce tickets. Let me see what they get. Let me see. View tickets. I'm on Ticketmaster.com. Okay. The cheapest they have available 2 tickets is $1,139 each. That's row 3. Row 3.
That's
row 3.
Row 3. Okay, that's on 4.
That's the lower level, row 3, $11,000. Let me see the most expensive ones they got available. Yes, $4,849. That's row 5, and that is on lower level C130. So the 1100 is a mezzanine, okay, which is kind of up high if you've ever been in Mercedes-Benz. The lower level is 4,000. You can get suite tickets for $19.59 each. But if you want to be down on the floor, 2 tickets, $48.49 each. So I guess, those other tickets way up are going out. And it's interesting. Those upper tickets is gone, Dr. V. So, okay, I ain't mad at you, B. Let me see if it's cheaper. Let me see. Let's go. Let me see. Nashville. I don't know. She only doing stadiums. I was trying to find something cheaper. No, not California. Seattle, Washington. Let's see. 2 tickets. It says Amy. Okay, see now in New Orleans, you can get some for $829 each. The upper levels, the terrace level, $829 each.
That's a Caucasian.
And the mat.
You can stop.
Ooh. They got Beehive. Okay, if you really about that life, you can get in the club Renaissance. That's row GA. 2 tickets for $13,000 each. That's that little circle right by the stage. And then
she trying to upgrade her Bentley or something.
No, this is the crazy part is the promoters are going to get a good bit of this.
But she get paid more of her money when she touring.
Yeah, she get paid. I ain't mad at her.
Let me tell y'all, for everybody who can't get the ticket to go to Beyonce, me and Mr. P will put on a show for you. We will put on a show for you. You let us know what you want to hear. We will get to rehearsing.
You can go see Kevin Hart for cheaper. The most expensive Kevin Hart is $2,000. $49 and $2,000. Wow.
I just can't. I really can't. No.
Well, they say it ain't tricking if you got it, Dr. V. It ain't tricking if you got it. So if you got it and it don't hurt you, do your thing, bro. Do your thing.
Well, count me out.
Count you out? Okay.
Count me out. I'm tipping out right now.
You won't break my stove, Dr. V, because you won't
I won't break her purse either. So.
Okay. All right. Before we get to this topic, I'm going to play you some things I've been coming across on the internet and to get your response from it. And let's see if you agree, you disagree, or okay. So I try to post the video or share the video with them sometimes, but it it is wonky sometimes. So let me see. Let me find something. Oh, let me see if you agree with this one. So, or if, so listen to this.
Thought of putting a bitch in her place
Ooh,
makes you
excuse me.
uncomfortable. Or if you're scared of that, you're scared
That
of
is
what's
not what I meant to do. Nope, sorry. That's not the one that I clicked on. Something else popped up when I clicked on it. Let me see. Nope, that wasn't it. Let me try this one. Nope, I'll say that one.
So whenever
Let's see here. Let me see this one.
why do you want to be a boy?
Because we like being boys.
Nope. What these? They give me click and bait. They give me clickbait. Like when I click on
Everybody's
something,
love language is different.
it's
Understood.
it shows something different. Let me try again. Let me see. Okay, let me try this one.
The women got
That's interesting, Dr. V.
yeah, baby. I saw so many boobies.
So if you
Mm-hmm.
experience,
Oh, I'm gonna have to try that out different because that's funny. They're switching up on me. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I click on it, it sends me to something different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yes. I wasn't the best wife. I wasn't a what? I wasn't.
Yeah, that's they switching up on your voice, y'all. I apologize because I had some stuff on here and it switched up. When I click on it, it's giving me something different than what the. I'm gonna have to figure something out on that, Dr. D.
Okay.
Guess we're not gonna do that one. 'Cause I want you to hear your thoughts on this one. Because when I click on it, let me try this now. This is really one that I wanted. Let me see.
you really want to know why 80%?
Yeah. It won't take me to the. It won't take.
It won't.
No, it takes me. Like I'm gonna show you. Like, can you see that?
Uh-huh.
Now you see. You see what it says?
Right.
But when you click on it, it goes to
It
something,
does something
totally
else.
different.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that sucks. Because it was really when I want you to comment on. It was about women really don't want to listen. I
Oh
was going to
Lord,
get
you
your.
always got to take me there.
Take you where? No, I'm just trying to get your perspective on it. So let me click on this, see if it takes you somewhere.
Right? I backed off. I wasn't submissive. I was hostile.
Yeah, it takes you to something totally different. Did you get what I just sent you?
Yeah.
Click on it and let me know what it takes you
The
to.
last one, right?
Yeah, the one I just sent you just now.
Women really don't want to listen. So
But when you click on it, does it take you to that video?
yeah.
Women have to understand.
There you go.
And
Play it.
Y'all
Okay.
are hard-headed, and women don't listen. Sometimes.
That's a very likewise statement.
Coming
Coming from a man saying the hard-headedness,
No,
I'm just saying that's a
no,
very likewise statement.
No, but it does not matter. What I'm trying to say is she had 8 failed relationships. You're not going to sit here and convince me that it was not a safe space and guys don't like to talk. No, they're talking. She's not being receptive. right? Everybody talks in different ways. If you have 8 failed relationships, you don't know how to listen. You do not know how to take direction. And direction is not like, I don't want to put that in a submissive aspect, but taking direction, like maybe, hey, you know what? You need to just do this just this way. So then that way you get further in your life. And guess what? Maybe she doesn't listen in that regard. Hey, if you want for me and you to be better, I need you to do this so then I can give you that. Maybe she's not listening in that regard. Women have to understand this. Y'all are hard-headed, and women don't listen. Sometimes.
That's a very likewise statement. Coming from a
So
I think that could be some truth, some validity in that. That it just is, but that goes back to your trust, Mr. P. That in order for her to listen, she's got to trust you. You know, and so oftentimes, I don't think that it's because her failed 8 relationships is because she didn't listen. No, it's some other dynamics that goes with that. But we'll stick to the point of women not listening. For order to us to listen, we have to trust you first. And once that trust is there, then you begin to listen. You know, and if you are speaking, and then yeah, you got some women who think they know it all. You can't tell them nothing. You can't even tell them that the sky is blue. And so I see where he's coming from. I get his viewpoint, but I wouldn't put that all on the person who having 8 failed relationships because they're not listening. It's other dynamics that goes with that.
So do you think the listening, women start off listening, and at some point that trust is eroded? So when you're talking now, she's not trusting what you're saying, so therefore she's not really listening because she doesn't trust that you're going to say something that's truthful, valid, or beneficial. Is that what you're saying?
Not doing something, being responsible, if you could have been, you know, whatever you're doing in the relationship has caused her not to listen. You know, so we have to look at everything, every aspect of that situation. What is he true to his word? If he says he's going to do something, you know, now all of a sudden now you become this expert and you want me to listen to you, but you, brother, you can't be on time. You can't, you know, you lie and you don't never show up. So, I mean, like I said, it's just so many things to this situation just to say that she's not listening. And that's our issue as women. We do have some women who are hard-headed. They don't want direction. They were raised by their mother, you know, and she was a strong one in the household. And so it's just so many components that goes along with this. So we can't just strictly say that women need to listen. We don't listen. No, we listen who we want to listen to.
Okay. I can buy that part once the trust has been eroded. So are you saying generally women do listen, but once that trust is there, they no longer listen?
On the shut off. Disconnected.
Okay, why are they still there then?
That I do not know.
Okay. Right. I can buy that. I can buy that. I just sent you another one. Click on that one.
Okay.
And this is a follow-up. I can buy that.
Okay, here's the.
She don't trust you because that trust is. She's not listening because she don't
I was
trust
just speaking
you.
to my sister and I was telling her that one of the unfortunate but common traits that we have as women is that we feel ashamed to say that we respect our partner. If you're married to a level-headed good guy, then respect him. You've chosen him. And when you chose to marry him, you've accepted his position as the leader of your home and the leader of your family. So you not respecting him makes you look like a fool. For example, I'll give you an example here. Imagine your friend invites you out and you say that, yeah, fine, I'll go out. But then your husband says that I don't actually want you to go out today. I prefer if you stay at home. And the reason may be he just wants you home. He wants to spend time with you. He wants you at home one day. It's not that deep. He wants to be in your presence. It's not a big deal. It's literally not a big deal. Just respect what he's got to say. And instead of sugarcoating it and saying that, oh, I don't feel like going out, just say, my husband wants me home today. Do you know what? Your responsibility of being a wife comes way before your responsibility of being a good friend. I was just speaking to my sister and I was telling her that one of the...
So there's so many components to this as well. And how I'm gonna tell you how I was brought up. If my husband said he wants me home, I'm home.
They gonna get you, Dr. B.
They gonna get you. That's how I was raised. My mother.
Time for the people in the back, Dr. B.
No, because I want my husband. I want my marriage. Because y'all get these men and then y'all leave me looking crazy. Heck to the nah, you ain't. I'm keeping what I got. you got
that's
me.
He's controlling you, or he can't tell you.
No, that's not controlling. That's a marriage. That's not controlling. Like she said, he just want to be with you. Did you get married to hang out with your friends? No. If he comes home and says that, you had plans, but he says, yeah, can you stay home tonight? You don't know if he has something planned for you. You don't know all these things. And I'm not getting ready to miss out what my husband have. I'd rather spend time with him.
So you're trusting that he wants you home for good reason.
Even if he just want me home just to sit there and I'm in the house. As long as he want me in the house, I'm in the house. He in the house with me. We good.
Okay. Y'all good.
I ain't getting ready to mess up my marriage because it's some knucklehead. I don't give a dang what they got to say. They ain't in this marriage. Ain't no bills coming in this house. Because trust and believe, when women get their man and they will flip on your behind.
Okay. So I showed you I sent you those two to lead into what we're about to talk to.
Okay.
Is marriage the goal? Because
it should be.
Would that be the same with someone that you're in a committed relationship? Would you
going out?
Right. Like if you're in a committed relationship and your man or whoever you're dating seriously posed that same thing, what you doing in that situation?
You ain't married. You can't do that.
So that only comes when
you're married. Mm-mm.
So if you're not married,
don't do that.
You can't put that request on it.
Don't do that. Don't do that. No.
It's gonna be a different boy. Bye. I see you when I see you. That's what it's gonna be.
No, I have made plans. If you wanted to do something, you should have mentioned this earlier. Steve Harvey said, think like in his book, think like a man, but act like a lady. Said if a man wants to be with you and hang out with you, he gonna have you on his mind. He gonna call you a Tuesday or Wednesday to take care of the weekend. If homeboy ain't called you and he just all of a sudden head to the knob, no, it's not that type of party. I'm sorry, y'all ain't married.
Okay. So for the people who are saying marriage is not the goal, or marriage is not, of course everybody put that caveat out there. Marriage ain't for everybody. Yeah, right. We know that. But is marriage still the goal? And that's the question. And I don't know if either one of us can answer. We can answer for personally. Mm-hmm. But do you think as a whole, marriage is the goal? It's not, is it the goal in your opinion? Just answer that one question.
For me, it's the goal.
Okay. But for today's singles,
nope, not the goal. It's not their goal anymore. Because they're not being raised with the same aspirations, morals, character, family values like we were, because it's not as a stressor anymore. The stressor is now you independent. The stressor is now you can do this on your own. And so the dynamics of the atmosphere has changed as it relates to dating and ultimately marriage. So all of that has changed. So people are they dating and they'll do long term, they'll live with you. But as far as the goal of marriage now, that temperature has changed. It's not there. It's not stressed upon anymore, because
Do
people
you
are already sleeping around doing what they want to do. So, back in the day, the constitution of marriage was, oh, get married so we can get it when we want to get it. Constitution of marriage because you're gonna be equally yoked. But now it's totally different. You don't have that anymore. That's not a goal anymore.
okay? You think they're being influenced by what they see in the media and movies,
Oh
and
yeah. Oh yeah.
because
That has,
again, um, I guess Sex in the City, was it like the '90s, early the mid '90s?
yeah,
Did you watch that
90s, yeah.
show? Would have made it in the '80s or the '70s. They didn't really have shows like that. I think the first, you know what I mean. So you can tell where the shift was kind of happening in the late '70s, early '80s by the shows or what people saw in pop culture. Um, that kind of reflects the time and day of what's going on. Because again, I think was it Leave It to Beaver or Father Knows Best, one of them shows, and even on you take I Love Lucy,
Hmm.
and the married couple still had separate beds.
They sure did.
You know what I mean? On TV, we know that
Hmm.
probably wasn't really in real
Yep.
life, but on TV, the married couples had different
Yes.
beds.
Exactly.
So it
Exactly.
wasn't until later then the couple started sharing the beds, and
Mhm.
then you didn't really see. Then I remember when Three's Company came out. That was kind of controversial for a minute because you had two women living with a single man. So those you could kind of start seeing the dynamic shift. And for people too young who don't remember that, but that was basically a small version of Friends, sorta, or Living Single before. And
Mhm.
Friends is really Living Single whitewashed. It's
Mhm.
Living Single came first, and then Friends basically took the same footprint and stamped it with their own characters, the white
Mhm.
characters. But and then you even fast forward. Let's go past um, Living Single, and then some of these other shows. You start seeing couples on shows who were couples but weren't married.
Mhm.
Even so much so, you would say. With the Martin show, from a culture perspective, Martin and Gina were never technically married. You had the Huxtables was married,
Mhm.
but you didn't have on TV people openly engaging in sex or sexual relationships openly out like that. Excuse me, on
Mhm.
TV. You just see it. The culture wasn't allowed it. The censors wasn't allowed it. We were just a little bit different now. And so
Mhm.
now it's even going further. At least the goal seems like people were trying to work toward marriage. I think in some of those Friends episodes, people got married. And Living Single, Sinclair and Overton, I think they eventually got married or working
They
toward
eventually
marriage.
got married. Mhm.
Right. Even in what is it? The spinoff from the Cosby, Different World.
Different
Dwayne
world.
eventually got married, so they were
Mhm.
still working toward,
Right. Mhm.
and then something shifted. And
Yeah.
now you think people get influenced too much by that, trying to
Yeah.
emulate culture?
TV has a definite influence. That's social theory, social learning theory,
Mhm.
because you duplicate those behaviors,
Mhm.
because you think that you're not separating reality from fantasy, from
Right.
TV. And so, yes, people are saying, oh, it's cool to do. You got shows now called Harlem. You got a
Mhm.
show called Girls Run the World. And you're seeing these single women enjoying their lives and their sexuality or what they like. And so you got all of this now. They're not now seeing marriage as just being a heterosexual bond. They're seeing it now because so many people are now bisexual, because you see it on the show. This girl on one of the shows, I don't know if it's I think it's Harlem. that they have a bisexual person. She likes both. And so people are not no longer thinking of a constitution of marriage anymore with man and woman.
Right.
And so they see what's on TV. They want to emulate. They want to duplicate it. They want to do the same behavior that they see there into their lives. And so it plays a big role. That's how, our kids are so easily influenced by things because they think it's real. And then they get caught up.
Yeah, because I think people not realizing that or that's scripted. That's not real reality. That's not really the relationships. It's scripted. You know what I mean? It's not real.
It's not real.
A bunch of people get together. They come up with these ideas, events, and usually the way it works is the way a story goes is there has to be an antagonist. There has to be something that goes wrong, an event, but ultimately it's still, happily ever after, or they still just stay together for the most part in the end. There's usually, even in these big dramas, there's some form of happily ever after or some form of overcoming things and life goes on normally or things like that, mental health, all that stuff. So the reality of life and what those people are dealing with is not shown. It's it makes believe like everything aligns right and there's not consequences with these actions and stuff like that they don't.
Yes, exactly.
The characters don't have to deal with that stuff.
And the thing is too, Mr. P, it's so funny that oftentimes I've seen some of the actors and actresses when they're on trying to promote their shows. And oftentimes the question is, do you allow your children or do you allow they says no.
Yeah, they don't.
So they let you know that morally they know they're not connecting that to their children. They're not allowing them to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Because stuff that's going on that they're doing is not in alignment with what they're teaching their children at the house. And so
most of them are getting married.
Exactly. And then and then the flip side, they're in and out of people's beds. Hollywood, it's like a revolving door for them. So we cannot live our lives based on what we see on TV. Oh yeah, girls run the world, Harlem, and you going from bed, man to man, man to this. We can't do that. We cannot emulate TV, and that's why so many people depressed. We got so many people depressed. Oh, I just don't know what to do with life. And nobody sees the goal of marriage anymore to say, let me settle down. This is kind of foolish. Let me stop doing this. Let me, we need more shows that will have bring the wholesome family back, the nucleus of family. We don't have that. Even with, just been sitting here thinking about, because one of the shows I love, and that's The Equalizer. They got Queen Latifah as a single parent. Nothing about that constitutes where's marriage on that. My other show that I like to watch is SWAT with what's his name, Shamar Moore. Him and his girlfriend shacking with a baby on the way. That's emulating his real life though, because he ain't married her either. His new girlfriend, he just had a baby girl. Congratulations on your baby girl, Frankie. So I mean, I think people are out. They just think that it's outplayed now. That marriage is not the goal anymore. That the best thing is to do is to shack or continue to date other people. I guess they like the variety. I don't know,
but it's a slippery slope because statistics show that there's benefits to it, and there's benefits to both parties, men and women, for being in lasting marital relationships. So it's like people are drinking the Kool-Aid and it's spiked. it's spiked. I don't know. It's interesting looking at it and hear the contents of it, the conversations that happen. Pretty much on like social media, and then I haven't even really seen it in real life. I think more people having a conversation online than actually having these conversations in real life, and really diving deep into why this is this way and what's happening, what's causing this. Um, because we know, in 20 or 30 years, it's going to hit hard economically, emotionally, mentally, a lot. A lot of single people, a lot of unconnected people, who are just like you said, they're I don't know what they're doing, but they're not working toward something that they're going to be able to sustain, and that's going to sustain them for a long period of time. So I don't know. It's interesting, but it's at the same time it's kind of saddening to see, um, or to witness these conversations that are being had, and nobody's promoting the goal of marriage. They're minimizing marriage, so much so that people are believing it that they're not, uh, committing.
So let me ask you a question, because let's talk about this from a biblical standpoint.
Mhm.
Are people not fearing God and what the word says?
Probably not. I would say no. They're not. I mean, from biblical, people are. There's a disconnect between people in the church. We know that, and maybe you can speak to why that's happened or what's happened. And it's twofold. I think, in my opinion, I think that some churches have failed to modernize or to adapt to the changing environment of the people or the congregation, um, and that has allowed, for the influence of church to kind of fall down. I think, church was a place used to organize people, bring people together. A lot of the things that happen in the Black community revolved around the church, the political organization, the safety aspect of it, the feeding, the community, the fellowship, all that stuff the church brought to the community. And now people are, not as politically active, in my opinion. People are, not neighborly. They're not looking out for each other. The church brought you together because you went to church together. So I know your mama, I know your family because we were connected through church. So now when I see you or your kids see me, because we're not connected, they feel like they can be disrespectful, and you're not supporting that. You're not, checking your kids. Back in the day, you couldn't. There was an adult in the neighborhood that you could disrespect or talk bad to, because one, they could probably put their belt to your behind just to that, because they knew you, they knew your family, and they looked out for you just as much as they did. So I think that the way that people view church now, unfortunately, it's not the center of a lot of people's lives. It's not a big impact in a lot of people's lives, unfortunately. And your family.
So what I've heard you say, is that you think that the church have shifted their
haven't.
or
They
they haven't.
No, I don't think they've adjusted with the change of times. And what I mean by that,
yeah, that's what I need to understand. How should they adjust with the change of time as it relates to the goal of marriage?
for one thing, I think it's all connected. I think for one thing, the whole homosexual conversation, the church stood so hard of a line on it, even though we knew that, people the gays and homosexuals and lesbians have always been in the church. They've always been there. So I think that ostracized a group of people. And then the church, some churches, I'm not saying all churches, picked and chose to not get involved. And I would say that was most recently in I would say like 90s, late 80s, 90s, 2000s, their involvement in the political arena became too of a, we had these mega churches and they was buddying up to these politicians and these big money spenders that it took off the moral focus, I think, from some of the churches. Like these mega churches, they became so big that they were, rubbing elbows with big money people with money and people with influence, that in the past they would have called them out on the stuff that they were doing, that they no longer call them out on it. Or, so the scandals that are happening in the church and the things that were happening in church, I'm not saying it didn't occur, but on the scale that it's happening now, it didn't happen like when we were growing up. We didn't have.
Yeah, but there has to be some type of fear back in you with this when it comes to this fornication and people are not wanting to get married. And sex should not be the ultimate drive for marriage.
Right.
The emphasis needs to go back to why it is important for man and woman to be married.
Right.
Because we know it's pleasing, number one, in God's eyesight. It just seems that the church, this is something that the church needs to be doing. And when I know there's a study out, and it shows that the people in the church marriage, they're the quickest to get divorced before the secular world. That's an issue for me. That's a big issue for me. So what is that saying? What message is the church sending? That the church people who are in church are divorcing at a higher rate.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Were we the Bible base that we got married because we wanted to do the daggone thing, and now we in the marriage and it has all of that sexities are wearing down, and you're like, I ain't want to be married. I just got married so we could stop burning. We don't want to burn in hell. So I think the dynamics of the marriage, that the church needs to do a better job. And it can't be all hell and damnation, but it needs to be presented in a different way.
It does.
So that the goal of marriage is back on the table, and that the TV is not teaching your children or you what to do in your life.
Well, but that goes back to, let me put it this way. Growing up in church, I can't recall ever seeing a pastor divorced.
Me neither.
Or having a girlfriend.
Me neither.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Times have changed. And it's like, it's like there's a disconnect, because one of the best things that I did before I got married, that really helped and set a foundation for me and my wife, was when we did the premarital counseling at the church. And it was a 7-week program where we went through. We had to show up like every Tuesday for 7 weeks. There was assignments, and then there were certain things, discussions, topics that we had. And so for me, some of it I could have did without. Some of it was very beneficial, like some of the positioning of the responsibility of the man and the woman, or the spouse, wife and the husband in the relationship, the submission things, even some of the things, as much as everyone in the class had to get their credit report and bring it to class and present it to your fiance, so that you guys can have everything on the table and have a clear understanding of where you're starting. So there was some good stuff in there. There was some good conversations that we had with the other couples, knowing that, to show that, okay, these are the challenges that we all face. I'm not isolated in this. This is normal to have these thoughts, these feelings, and these challenges. And so it just strengthened your bond to know that, okay, we can do this. This is something that we apply some of these things, it'll help us going forward. So, I think that is beneficial to all. But how often do people have any conversation, or do you even learn about how to be in relationships? You're not taught that in class. a lot of times it's trial and error. You're really not taught that a lot directly from your family or your parents. You for some people you watch, you can learn from how they operate, but the actual processing of it, the intricacies of it, and how to build trust, how to do all that type of stuff, you have to try that and try. It's trial and error. It's like baptism. You get your feelings hurt. You learn what you don't like. You don't. What to do and what not to do. What you don't like happens to you, and then you apply it to your own life, and then you create, hopefully, the type of relationship that you want to have. But again, we're not taught that. That's not a class, school. That's really, you get bits and pieces from your elders. If you're listening, if you talk to your elders long enough, if you go, and the elders are not elders anymore, they're not revered like they once was. They could give you the wisdom on it or what was going on, or they could see what's happening, and they talk to you and they're like, look, baby, let me talk to you for a minute. And then they'll tell you, you shouldn't do this or you should do that, or some word of advice, but that's not happening.
It's not happening. But I remember in growing up apostolic, it was taught to us. It was taught, how do you date? What is courting? All those things that lead up to marriage. So we at apostolic, we taught it. Because that was always a question on the table. And when we're saved, how do you date? How do you court? What is the meaning of them? Between them, because it's two different things, courting, dating, because you're dating to find out, is this someone that you would like to court and see more often? And once you got into the courting stage, that would move into the marriage stage. Because dating means you're dating around, you're dating to see who is who. So I was taught. And of course, growing up PK, that's all I know is church. And that's why I still have marriage as a goal, because that's embedded in me. But since, and I heard what you said, that because yes, some churches have lost their focal point, and now it's all about prosperity. It's all about going out here getting yours. No one is preaching on the constitution of marriage and the importance of marriage, what the scripture is saying about marriage. No one is doing that anymore, because now pastors and preachers, bishops, apostles, whatever their titles are, they're too afraid of losing their offering, and seeing a decline in the offering. And then as we talk about people that are homosexual, LGBTQ, I think is what it's called, plus pan, they walked away from church because it was just too much of some of the underground stuff, like you just said. We didn't find our pastors back then sleeping around, creeping with no woman or man. They were sold with their wife. And so now they're seeing a lot of hypocritical things going on, like they're hypocrites, because a lot of them out here saying that, God said don't sleep before marriage, and then the pastors exposed out here having premarital sex in their relationships. Back in the day, we didn't see a lot of pastors that were not married. They were married. Now you're seeing these people, they're single. So how can you go before a congregation? And this is for me too. Go before your congregation and say what you can and cannot do. And because they're looking at you. You're the leader. You're the example. So I, as a pastor, I can't go out here and just be out here willy-nilly just dating and spreading evil. I can't do that. Because I have people looking at me. But you got some people who don't care.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't care. But moral, we need to put that back on, and it's going to take a movement of people to showcase that marriage is good, is healthy. you know, because two people coming together to agree and walk together, reason together, multiply, can have fabulous things together, you know. And then too, you know, also we having so many single parents raising children. That is, you know, oh, I ain't get married because I know what my mom and my daddy went through. I ain't get married because they divorced. And when I was such and such age, they couldn't stand one another. And so you got that to play into why people are not putting that, because they're going about past and what didn't work for their parents. That don't mean it's not going to work for you.
Yeah. I was thinking about something today, and again, it's people. That's why when they say representation means so much, because people basically emulate what they see around them for the most part. Kids, it starts at a young age with children. You know, people. Your accent comes from the people that you're around, the people that you talk to. So what you see, you emulate. Same thing with relationships and things like that, and what you absorb into it. And then you have to get to a certain point where you understand that some of this stuff that I'm absorbing is not real. It's not reality. It's not sustainable. It's not, you know, what I should be emulating, right? So you get to a point where you mature and you you can handle that. A lot of people don't ever get to that point. They think relationship goals, or you know, they trying to be like somebody else, not knowing this person in reality is the most submissive person that you would ever meet in a relationship. And this person does the reason why they have a successful relationship or able to maintain a relationship because of the things that they do that you don't see. When you see them or out on social media, you don't see that. So those are the key components that you should be picking up on versus the garbage or the surface level stuff that you see that they present that gives you this idea that this is all I have to do to get what they have. And, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people buy the Kool-Aid. They do. And, you know, here's the thing. I'm not a woke person. I don't consider myself a woke person. But I finally watched Wakanda Forever. Did you see Wakanda Forever?
No.
Have you seen it? Yeah.
You went to the movies to see it?
No, I watched it at home in my
you should be supposed to say, yeah. Okay. You saw it at the movie theater. Okay.
I paid for it. No, I didn't bootleg it. I streamed it on Disney Plus. So I paid for it. So they got my credit for it.
Okay.
But, you know, for those who saw the movie, and I'm not a woke person, but in the movie, essentially, are you going to see it, Dr. E?
Yes.
You're going to see it? So I won't spoil it for you. But some of the same social ills are displayed in the movie. And I'm like, when I think about the movie as a whole, I'm like, I don't know, it's like, is this purposeful to put these social ills into the movie, the challenges and the removal of the father, even when you mention single motherhood, I'm not going to mention it, but you know, there's a single motherhood and choosing single motherhood aspect of it that comes into play as well. And you know, I don't know, I just thought that was, I don't know if it was a purposeful intent to remove many of the male figures or male characters from the movie. And what I mean by that is, we know T'Challa, you know, wasn't in there, and they chose to remove him or the character.
Oh no!
Yeah, so they didn't replace. Yeah, so they didn't replace Black Panther. He did die or pass away in the movie, which they don't tell you why, or you know, really, there's not a lot of details about it. But his father is not in the movie, you know, we know, And you know, a lot of the male figures or the male strength is not in the movie. And I'm not knocking it or what they were attempting to do. They really were uplifting women, or the women were in the position of power and were given the task of basically trying to protect with the absence of the men there. But I felt a certain kind of way about that. Uh, for example, in the movie, there's men there. Obviously, there's plenty of men there at Wakanda. But even what's his name, M'Baku, the one, the gorilla king or whatever.
Yeah.
You have a perfectly healthy, capable warrior there, but you guys seek out external forces, or even, you know, put the task on another woman to, you know, do these things or to protect Wakanda, or to position Wakanda in there. And I just kind of felt a certain kind of way about that. I was like, I get it, but I don't understand why, you know, I didn't understand the purpose of that. So when you watch it, we can discuss it more. And for anybody who watched it,
Okay.
But I just felt a certain kind of way that a lot of the men, and they were men of color, I'm gonna say black
excluded.
men, were excluded or removed or not part of protecting Wakanda, or, you know, getting Wakanda where it needs to be, or providing any protection or things like that. So I just kind of felt the kind of way about that. I just like, okay, I get it. You're trying to uplift the women in here, and they are vital to it, but there should have been, in my opinion, more of a masculine presence. And the only other masculine presence they went to was the white CIA guy from, you know, from the first movie.
Right. Okay.
Right. So, and even he reported to like a white female boss and stuff like this.
Well, that's just like, you know, how society is viewing it, that a woman that the man's presence is not needed anymore. So that's why the goal of marriage is no longer there, because the woman they're trying to say that the woman can be a solid foundation for her household and provide for the household, be the head of the household.
Take the protection aspect of it. Because that was the primary role of Black Panther, was the protector of Wakanda.
Right.
So, you know, he was the protector. So you remove the protector figure from it, and then you're replacing it with another protector. But at the same time, I don't know. So maybe I'm looking too much into it, and I'm not.
I mean, because that shows you now why women said, "I'm independent. I got this." Yeah. And so in this movie, it's saying, "Okay, Black Panther's dead. Now the woman got to rise up, like we always do, and handle business."
But like, ain't all those other black men there? You know, like T'Challa was the only black man there. You had other black men in there. Yeah, I don't get it. So that was me. I was like, we'll see. Anyway, that was but again, it's a sad state to see. Hopefully things turn around, or it's going to take something to change the mindset of people, and to someone to push the agenda on marriage becoming the goal.
Find some role models. That's my thing, you know. People who are married, if that's your goal, hang around people who have healthy marriages. Of course, you ain't gonna know if they're healthy or not. So because oftentimes what looks good from the outside, when you go in, it's all messed up. But find you someone that, you know, that has the same morals and values that you have, that you can, you know, look to them as a model, instead of going to this TV in fantasy land. This law is unbelievable, because trust me, those that are on TV, they're not letting their children watch that to influence them, because they want to be their own children's role model. And so it's just too much. We got to stop this watching the TV and letting those actors and actresses that they get paid to do influence you.
And you can find people. It's like if everybody in your circle is in a bad relationship, you need to switch up your circle.
Exactly.
Every y'all can't. If every one of y'all is getting dogged out, quote unquote, by the opposite sex, something is wrong. There's a common denominator in your circle that's gravitating you guys to each other. You know, I'm not saying things don't happen, but everybody's can't be in a bad relationship or a bad marriage. And again, that's that notion, birds of a feather flock together. So there's some characteristics about yourself or the people that you guys are choosing, which are similar, that you're not recognizing. So you and y'all hanging together, both of y'all think that this type of person is a catch. Well, that person is not good in a relationship or in a marriage, but you guys are still supporting the notion or each other's decision on picking those type of people. And then when it doesn't work out, that confirms your bias that relationships are bad or relationships are bad. That confirmation bias is because you are making the decisions and the people around you are making the same decisions and getting the same outcomes and then being surprised. So
right, definitely. But I know the goal for me is marriage. I mean, I'm not dating out here or just to be out here. Goal marriage, old values and standards. So
right, yeah. Stop listening to La Anthony saying nobody in her circle wants to be married. She's been married before.
That's right, and she's divorced.
And she divorced, right? So she chose who she was married, and the lifestyle didn't equip to her. So not saying she should have stayed in there, but she still continued, I'm pretty sure, the type of persons she chose to date afterwards or even prior to held the same characteristics of that, of her failed relationship. So you can't keep selecting the same things and expecting different results, right? So if it's a certain type of person that is in that circle and they operate in that same sphere, likelihood is that the outcomes in terms of relationships are going to be the same for you. So you need to move your circle, stop dating those people, stop dating people, basketball players, if that's who you've been having trouble with, or athletes and entertainers. You need to find a regular person, and be and have a successful relationship, and vice versa. So, you can't keep doing that. Y'all dating and you have a type. You may not have a physical type, but you have a characteristic type that you are drawing in, and those characteristics are not prone to long-term relationships. So take some ownership on it for yourself. Men, same thing. You like the hot girl summer type chick. Hot girl summer type chick ain't good for a long-term relationship. I mean, you get mad when she take you for your money or go dig you or use you for that. You need to switch up your circles. The hot girl summer type chick ain't for you.
That's right.
She listens to Megan Thee Stallion on repeat. She probably ain't the one for you. You need somebody with some variety. Someone she listen to a little Megan, but she listen to a little BB and CeCe Winans. She listens to some Tamala Man. She mixes up a variety. So she's not one way. She's multifaceted. So those are the type of things that you guys need to be paying attention and listening to. And then find someone who's of like mind and you guys come together. So it's not the relationship problem. It's not the marriage problem. It's y'all problems that are causing you to have failed relationships. So I don't have to be. One marriage was the goal for me and is the goal for me. So I can't say I would ever get, if something was to happen, I would ever get married again unless she had like Oprah type money, and then it would be an understanding.
Baby, you ain't going nowhere. Y'all gonna be married, so you ain't no second wife. No second wife is in the future, nowhere near. So we good.
Lord forbid something to happen. No,
ain't that gonna happen. We praying for protection.
What happened to me? So she might have Bill Gates in her. So I don't know what her plans are. Mine is not. It's not too interesting. The next one, Dr. B, she's not gonna duck because she's gonna ask me why, and I don't want to.
Anyway, Well, you know what? We had a good topic. I mean, we need to make sure that the goal of marriage is back on the table. I need for you all to make sure that the number one thing is that we need to make sure that we are still connected to the word of God. Don't look, if you can't look to your pastor, if you can't look to your congregants, I need for you to look to God. I need that fear to be back in. He don't want you to fear him, but he do want you to obey his word. And so if that's your goal out here, just to sleep around and do those things, fornicate, you're going against his word. He still loves you, but he hates the sin. And that's the thing that the many of churches are not ministering. They're not telling you that. He does not hate gays, lesbians, and all of that. He loves them. He hates the sin. And so just as we're out here, people who are out here fornicating, he hates the sin, but he loves you. That's the message. And we need to make sure that we are abiding by the word of God. And the word of God says that we should not be sleeping with someone that is not our husband and not our wife. And we need to make sure that we are abiding by that so that we can be blameless before God. That means without spot nor wrinkle. All right. So put that back on the table, change that mindset, turn that TV off and stop looking at that and start looking into the word of God for direction that would tell you which way you should go and to give you the wisdom and the knowledge. All right. That's spiritual talk with Dr. V. All right. Well, Mr. P, I enjoyed this topic. I mean, it hit home. It hit home today.
Well, thank you, Dr. V. I'm so glad to be doing this with you. Hopefully someone was touched by this and, has something to say, a comment, agree, disagree, let us know. Give us feedback and, tune in next time for Dr. V and Mr. P.
And Mr. P. All right. What's your always your closing line? Oh, I'm so glad to be doing this with you, Mr. P.
All right, Dr. V. Peace.
Love you all. Bye-bye.
Love you.